Good morning, folks. How are we doing this morning? I am so excited to be here. I love seeing all your little comments beforehand. I was checking, seeing what you guys were talking about. We're all here. We are all ready to go. How are we? I would love to hear. I always like asking how the weather is because I know some people are getting snow. And I got to tell you, San Diego, we've had a little bit of a heat wave this past week. Most of this winter so far and the end of fall has been so cold, but now we're getting a little bit of heat. So that is amazing. And if you're local, I hope you're enjoying that too, because it's been too cold, way too cold. But I hope everyone's having a good week so far. We have a really fun show planned today. We have Miss Belle back in the house again. She was on a few weeks ago and we made some amazing luggage tags and they turned out adorable. They were so cute. And now we have her back again today and she's going to be making another adorable project that I will be following along on. And if I had a machine here, I would so stitch it out as she's going along, but I got to wait till after the show's over and then I'll be working on it the rest of the day. But very excited to have Belle back and just work on some fun projects. You know, you always got to have some inspiration with the holidays coming up. You know, I know we're probably all busy making projects. If you've got a to-do list of making stuff for family, I get it. It is a busy time, but I hope everyone is taking some time just to relax and take some time for yourself as well. And thank you for being here and taking the time to sit and hang out with us. I am so glad that you're here. Kathy Brooks from Florida, good morning. Kathy, she said it is very cold in Wisconsin. I get it. Valerie, who was on last week, they're based in Wisconsin, and she said that they had tons of snow and oh my goodness. Paula Becker, she says it's snowing in Indiana right now. Wow. I need to go see snow at some point this winter. I've got to. But all that being said, talking today's show and just in the future, I've been starting to book our shows for the next quarter of 2026. And I am so excited for all the guests that we have been booking so far. I cannot wait for you guys to see what we have in store for next year and just going into the new year strong, trying to get some fresh ideas and just some good stuff for SMP Nation, of course. But next week, I want to tell you, I had asked, and I always like to ask, every show, I had asked what you guys wanted to see on the shows in the future. And I know we were talking about doing a stabilizer show, talking all about the different types of stabilizer, the do's and don'ts, the ins and outs. So next week, we are going to be talking all about stabilizer. It'll be me hanging out and we're just going to go through and I'll have some samples. We're going to do a demo and just show you all the things that you need to know about stabilizer because I feel like there are so many different types of stabilizer out there and there's so many different purposes for each one that you might not know. So great little education for you guys next week. And I'm working on some little cheat sheets and just little reference sheets that you guys can save and print out for you, keep them in your sewing room and then refer to them anytime that you are working on a project or you're like, what stabilizer should I use for this? Or what should I use for that? So very excited. We're going to talk about just your classic stabilizers, but I'm also going to talk about some toppers and some other different things, different types of insulated things, whatnot. So lots of good stuff. I wanted to make sure that I am showing you guys everything so that way you'll be super educated on stabilizers. We'll all be pros and we will have no puckering and no sinking stitches at all. So that's the goal. So that'll be happening next Thursday. I'm very excited and we just got some fun stuff coming up in the future. So I'm very, very excited for all of that. But let's talk all about today's show. I have Belle. She's going to be coming on. And I just want to tell you before I bring her on, go to the link down below or our little caption down below. Go down there. I have put a bunch of links to the patterns. All of the things that Belle is going to be using today is down in the description box. So make sure you go check that out. I also have linked her YouTube and her website. So you can go check out her website as well. And she has so much good stuff on there. And also I have a link to, which I'm sure she's going to talk about, her little alphabet little saver. So I'm very excited to see those. So make sure you check the description box, check out all of Belle's socials and all that good stuff outside of this, but I cannot wait to see what she's going to work on today. So I'm just going to bring her right in. Belle, good morning. How are you? Or I guess
good morning, Kennedy, and hello, SMP Nation. How are y'all?
We are so good. We're all so excited to see what you have in store for us. Every time you come on, I'm obsessed with your sewing room and just your entire setup. It's gorgeous. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Well, huge thanks to my dad. He's the one that turned, this was an old RV garage that he turned into a studio for me. So I'm grateful.
I love that. I love that. Well, I am so excited for your class today and just what all you have in store for us. So I'm going to let you take it away. I'll be back behind the scenes checking out for any questions, but you take it away, Belle, and I will be mentally following along until I can get to my machine and make the project.
Okay. We'll see you in a bit, Kennedy. Well, hello, everyone. SMP Nation, it's great to be back with you again. I know, as Kennedy mentioned, I was here, I believe, in October for luggage tags. And what are we making today? Well, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, which I suggest you do, I'm usually baking something. I love to bake, particularly pies. And so I thought this tutorial might be really helpful for you guys. I've actually made this a couple times before and I've taught the class, and I thought, well, a lot of you are probably baking this time of year. I bake pies a lot for my retreat center here in Arkansas in the Ouachita National Forest. So every group that comes for my retreats, I bake a homemade pie from scratch, and then I take it to the retreat center, which is about 13 miles away. And that means I need to carry it in something. And normally I use this plastic Pyrex carrier to put it in the car. But I thought, you know what, Belle, you need to make something cuter. So we are going to make this darling pie and casserole dish. It's insulated holder. It's a carrier. And I'm going to show you kind of how it works. So I'll show you the overhead in a little bit, but this is kind of it from the sides. And it's got darling little bows on it on the corners to kind of keep that shut. You don't have to put them on, but it's optional. And I'm using my new fabric collection, which ships to shops in March. It's called Montgomery Mountain Charm. So I'm going to show you two versions. One is a patchwork version that I've made, and then this one is another two fabric version that I've made. And I'll show it to you in just a minute when we get started. So that's what we're going to do: insulated pie and casserole carrier. So it'll be for a 9-inch pie dish, and then also for an 8 by 11-inch casserole dish. So I'll go over in a few minutes just the few small pieces of fabric that you need. So you might want to get a pen and paper ready just so you'll know exactly what those fabric requirements are. You can write those down. And then if you're not sewing along with me today, you can always just watch the replay again. So I'd love for you to find me over on two places. My website, it's www.SewingMachinesPlus.com. That's, as Kennedy mentioned, in the description box below. You can find out all about my patterns, my quilt patterns, my notions, my retreat center, all the things. That's the one-stop place to find me. You can even watch the video about Montgomery Mountain Charm, this fabric collection. And I'll show that to you in just a minute so you can see that. So one of the things I want to mention to you today is I'm actually offering just today. It's literally only for today for those of you that are here live. You know that I use my jumbo alphabet and number clips a lot. You guys see me use these. So they're 25% off only with the special code, and it's SMP Nation. That is the coupon code. So if you're looking and you've been wanting these alphabet and number clips, I brought those here for you to see, and they're on sale just for today. So it is these darling clips. You'll see me using them. They help me keep track of my fabric pieces. So these are the number clips to help you keep track of the rows. So you know when you stack all of your blocks together and you have to remember, okay, this is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. These are the jumbo number clips, and they hold up to 1-inch stack of fabric, and they're really sturdy. They don't break. You don't have to replace them. And the link for those in the description box below too. You can find those on my website. And then these are the ones you'll see me use today. So these are the alphabet clips. This is A through Z. And again, it's got all the letters here, and it'll hold a 1-inch stack of fabric when you're making all of your quilty things. That just holds them together, and you don't have to worry about things falling off, paper clips, pins, all of that good stuff. So coupon code SMP Nation. It's 25% off. So these are normally $45. And with the coupon price, it actually brings it in just under $35. So it's a special deal. I don't do them very often. So I wanted to let you guys know that is for you all, very special today. All right, couple of other things to get out of the way. Y'all might be wondering about this apron. Okay, let me show you this darling apron. It's got ruffles all the way down. And whenever I wear it to do this tutorial, people are like, oh my gosh, that is so cute. It's got these darling bows. There's a bow in the back and at the neck here too. And looks like it might be a little, hopefully it's not a little blurry for you guys. I don't know. We'll see if it kind of gets a little in focus here. You'll have to let me know. But this apron is called the Hestia apron, and guess who designed it and has a pattern for it? Our very own Jane Klaus. So, you know, Jane has been on the show quite a bit, and this is her Hestia apron pattern here. It's linked below, and I made this because I was like, oh my goodness, it is the most darling apron. It's got the ruffles, and all you have to do is wear like black leggings and a black shirt, and this is your outfit when you have company. It's like a little dress, but you know, not really. It's just the apron, and it's got a pocket so you can put your cell phone in there. Which is really nice. Is it blurry to you guys? Do y'all notice if it's blurry or not? Okay, I just wanted to see if it was. So we'll have to check that out in a minute. Let me know in the comment box. But anyway, this apron, the Hestia apron, if you want the pattern, Jane's got it on sale right now on her website. So shout out to Jane. And I use my Montgomery Mountain Charm collection. So if you're like, I don't know what to wear, you know, when company comes over and I host them, just get a black top and leggings or black pants and just throw this apron on and it's your outfit for the whole night, right? Yeah. Okay, it's a little blurry for you guys. Okay. Let me do here the overhead and let's see. Okay, we'll see here if that is better. How is that?
It's laggy too. Switch to one of those.
Okay, let's see here. We're gonna split to the other screen. Sorry, y'all. Never fails. Sometimes that happens. I'm going to split to the sewing machine. Yeah. Still blurry. Well, that's not normal. We've got a good connection here on our end. Let's see here.
See, it looks good there.
Okay. Well, let me know because I need you guys to be able to see what we're going to be doing here. Quilt Husband's over here on the side, and he's like kind of looking at things to check it all out. So just bear with me for a second here, guys. Yeah, they said it's still blurry. Quilt Husband is kind of an IT pro, so I'm not sure if it's on our end or if it's through StreamYard. I'm not sure. Kennedy, let me know if we might need to like log out, log back in, because they're saying it's blurry. It's clear on our end from what we're seeing here through the system, but when I look up on...
I'm here. Okay.
You're there.
You guys want to hop back in, just sign back out and then sign back on, and I will talk to him a little bit about what machine you're using.
Great. Let's do that because I want him to be able to see.
Yes, me too. Me too. Okay. So as before, I'm glad we're figuring this all out before she actually gets into her demo because I want you guys to be able to see everything. But Belle is going to be talking about the Juki DX-4000. She's going to be using the Expert Edition today, and that is the machine that we're going to be highlighting, and we've got a little call-in special for, so that is very exciting. And this machine is great for all of our quilters out there, and Belle is going to show you some of the really good features that come on that Juki DX-4000. Very, very similar. If you have the DX-4000QVP, just the original, there's only some slight differences between that and the Expert Edition. And one of the biggest differences is the physical look of the machine. It's got a really pretty gray color, and it is a gorgeous machine. And I think Belle is back, so we're going to see if she's cleared up so that way you guys can really see that Juki DX-4000. Okay, how are we doing?
Okay, how does this look?
Oh, it looks great. It looks great.
Okay, do my face. Clear?
Yes, awesome.
Okay.
I'll let you guys get right back to it.
Okay, good, great, good deal. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. I just, didn't want to get started if it was blurry. You know how it works sometimes with IT. It looked clear on our end, but when I was looking up at my big screen over here, because I can see it, it was blurry. Okay, we're good now. We're back in action. All right, let's see. So the apron, you can find the link for that pattern below. That's Jane Klaus's new pattern, the Hestia apron, if you're wondering about that. And what machine I'm going to be using. So Kennedy mentioned that. I'm going to be using my usual. It's the Juki DX-4000, and I'm using the silver colored one. That is the Expert Edition. Okay, that's the QVP Expert Edition. And I absolutely love this machine, particularly because you can change out the feed dogs and the throat plates so that you don't have that whole machine issue of it eating your fabric. And so you can switch out the plate. So I love it very much. It's got the 7-inch screen, like a tablet. It's just a great machine. So you'll see me using that today as well. And I'll also show you the box that has some of the feet that come with it. So it's just a great machine. All right, that's what I'm going to be using today. Okay, let me switch to the overhead, and I'm going to show you the insulated pie and casserole carrier so you can kind of see what it is, how it works, what fits in there, and then we're going to make it. All right. Okay, here we go. So this is the pie carrier here. And I've made this in 2 different fabrics of mine. So this one is the Welcome Weave fabric in the Montgomery Mountain Charm collection. And then inside is a striped print. And then I used white ribbon. So the way this works is I went ahead, this is optional if you choose to put the ribbon on the sides. You absolutely do not have to. But I thought it was cute. You know, my slogan is make lovely things. And so I thought the ribbon made it look lovely. So it's insulated, and we use Insulbrat whenever we make this. You just need 1 piece of it. And it's basically kind of origami is what this is. And it's actually really easy to unfold and fold. So I have in a 9-inch pie plates in here. Sorry, no pie. And this little strap here, which is actually shorter, so it kind of pulls on here, like it's not the full length of this from end to end. Let me turn it around. It actually kind of is short on purpose because that helps with the origami. So I've used the stripe on the back. This is called Washita stripe. And then the basket weave on the top. All right. So you really only need 2 prints, but you can make this patchwork if you want. And I'm going to show you the patchwork version that I did when I was first kind of trying to figure out how I wanted to do this. I had scraps and I used those. So you can do whatever you want. You could use all 1 print, 2 prints, however you want to do it, you can. And I'll mention those fabric requirements in just a minute. So what you do is you put your 9-inch pie dish in here. And then you're going to hold this up in the air like this. And you have these loops. So you feed it through the first loop like this and pull up like that. Grab this other side with this loop, feed it through, and pull up like this. And what happens is you just have these little triangle edges here all along the side. And it just really, it folds up. And then you just tie your ribbon, if you want, on the side. You don't have to have these because basically it stays put together. I just did it for the loveliness of it. And you'll just tie these into little bows all the way around if you want. Now, this I think makes a darling gift. So if you're invited to someone's house any time of the year, you can bring your dish in this and then leave it as a gift for them, you know, for inviting you over. So I think this just makes a darling gift that you leave with them and then they have one. And literally you can sew this up in 30 minutes. Liz, you want to borrow my slogan, make lovely things? Well, I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me see here. Back here on this little gray sign up there, it's what it says. It says make lovely things. Well, I'm Southern, y'all. So, you know, there's some sayings that we have, and I like girly things too. So make lovely things. I'm like, who wants to make ugly things, right? We all want it to be lovely. So, all right. So that's what that looks like for the pie carrier. Now let me show you when you use it for a casserole dish. So this will also hold a rectangular 8 by 11-inch casserole dish. Okay. And works the same way. I won't tie the bows, but this is the scrappy version. Okay. This is the outside, and these were all leftover fabrics from my Montgomery Mountain Charm collection. I just stitched them all together, and then I just picked a solid for the inside that I had. And the way this one works is you're going to put your dish in like this, where the casserole dish is even with your strap ends, okay? And then you'll do the same thing. You just grab your loops and pull it up like origami. And then you'll tie your bows on the end. And now it's the shape of a rectangle. You see that? Yeah, so let me hold it up to my face here and you can see it that way. So when you carry it, it's coming like this. It's a rectangle shape. So it'll kind of take more of this shape, a little bit more of a square, or more of a rectangle, depending on what you want to, what you want to put in there. Okay. All right. Is it blurry again, y'all?
Yeah, it's blurry.
Huh.
Let's go back to Kennedy one more time.
Okay, Kennedy, if it's still blurry, we may have to go back to you one more time and pop out and pop back in. I just want to make sure y'all can see before I get started with this. Not really sure, y'all, what is going on. It's clear on our ends, but when I look on YouTube over here, it looks like it's a little bit blurry. So
we can try one more time if you want to head out and then come back in, and
let's try it again.
show them just a little bit more. I'll get Belle out of here so that way she can rejoin in. I love that. Isn't that pie holder adorable? And just, you can use that for anything. And I love the concept of being able to tie it, all that good stuff. So very, very excited. And yeah, it is a little bit glitchy. Hopefully the next time that they join back in, that issue will be fixed, and that way she can show you how to make it. But like I was saying, if you are interested in any of these and that apron, I also linked that pattern down below as well from Jane. I love Jane. So if you just go down to the description box, all of the links to all the products and all of the things that she's showing you today are there and available. So you can go check those out after the show. I love her little alphabets. They're adorable. And I definitely could see myself using those when working on different projects that have tons of pieces. So I love that. But yeah, this is a great gift. As Reen was saying, it would make such a great gift. And I'm really hoping that it fixes and it's not super blurry, so that way you guys can see how she made it. So as soon as she gets back in, I will bring her up. But I would love to ask, what are you working on for this holiday season? Are there any projects in particular that you are working on? Is there anything that you are making for family? Anything like that? Oh, I would love to hear. I would love to hear. But put a comment down below. And I think Belle is back. So let me see if I can get her back in here. All right. How we doing?
It looks clear from here.
It looks clear on my end too. So I think we should be okay. I think that might have done it. Let me get out of your hair and I'll be back.
Let's give it another try. Okay, y'all. Thanks for your patience, you guys. Okay, let's get started on making this. Now that I've shown you what it is and what it's all about, let's talk about what you need. Now, I am using, like I said, my Montgomery Mountain Charm collection. It's a fat quarter bundle here. And so this is actually what I'm using. You'll want to check with your local fabric shop to see if they're going to be carrying it. It ships to shops in March. So people sometimes will ask, what fabrics are you using? And then it has the coordinating fat quarter bundle. It's called Blissfilled. And these are all coordinating solids that go with the collection. Okay. So that is what I'm using today. Now, here's what you're going to need. All right. Got your notepad? You are going to need a square of Insel Bright. Now, Insel Bright, you guys are expert sewers. You probably know what this is, but this is what the bag looks like. This is the Insel Bright. Okay, you'll need some of that. And you can actually make several of these with it. And if you do the Franken batting where you actually zigzag a couple pieces together, it goes a little bit further, but you'll want to use Insel Bright. So you need one square piece of Insel Bright that is 22 by 22 inch square. All right. So that's what this is. And this is going to help keep things warm. So that's going to be your C fabric. All right. We're just going to put the clip on there to kind of keep it all labeled. And then you're going to need A and B fabric. So I'm showing you how to do this with two different prints, one for the outside, one for the inside. And it doesn't really matter. You can decide which one you want on the outside or the inside, completely up to you. But what you're going to need, so for your A fabrics, you are going to need one 22 inch square. okay, just like your INSPO. So I've already got these cut, so we didn't have to do that together today. So we need that. You're going to need one 22 by 3 inch square, or strip, sorry, 22 by 3 inch strip of your A fabric. And you need 2 3 by 7s. All right, 2 3 by 7s. All right. Yeah, Kathy, it could be bandwidth issue, maybe. I'm not sure. So you guys let me know how that's looking for you guys. Yeah. Okay. Then we are going to take our B fabrics, and it's the same. You need the exact same measurements, okay, for your B fabrics. So I've got this print here. This is the a floral toss. So you're going to need one 22-inch square of this. You'll need one 22 by 3 inch rectangle of the B, and 2 3 by 7s. So the identical fabric requirements for both, and 1 piece of INSPO. All right. And then if you want the ribbon, which is optional, you need 8 strips that are 12 inches long for your ribbon. And if you wanted to make it longer, you absolutely could. All right. All right. So we are going to put the ribbon aside, and we are going to first start out with our rectangles. So let's grab our rectangles here, and we'll put this other fabric aside. And we are going to sew these right side together. So this is going to be making that strip that is in the middle of the pie carrier. Let's put all this over here. We're going to be making that strip first. And we're going to also do the same thing with both of our little loops. Now, these are the little loops that go on opposite ends of the pie carrier. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to take them all over to the sewing machine and do them at the same time. So we're going to do right sides together for those. And actually, we need to actually have one of each print on top of each other. All right, not the same. So one of each print. So I've got opposite, right? I've got the yellow, and then I've got the kind of the blue yellow floral print. So we'll want to do that. That way, one side for the inside loops are one print, and then the outside of the loops are another. All right. So we're just going to put these together. I'll go ahead and pin them. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew a 1/4 inch all the way down both sides and one end. We're going to leave one end open, okay? One end open. So we're going to do that for the strip as well. We'll pin this in place to keep it from shifting when we go sew. So again, we're sewing all the way down our sides, one end and up the other side, leaving the ends of these open. All right, so let's go over to the sewing machine and let's stitch these up. Now I am using the Juki DX-4000, and I love this machine. I think I told you I was going to show you the box here with the features in it. So you've got the removable throat plate there, and this is what I call the jelly bean plate here. Let me get that out of the way. This is the jelly bean plate. And this one is basically, this has got the I call it the jelly bean because that's what it looks like right here. And so that is if you are basically working on things that you need a zigzag stitch or your decorative stitch or what have you, that's what this is for. And it has its own separate feed dogs that go with it. So these feed dogs match. You can see they line up here and they fit right in there. So these pop out. And so this machine can act like basically we'll say a regular sewing machine. But then what I've got on here right now is the straight stitch plate and the straight stitch feed dogs. So you don't have to worry about your fabric getting sucked down in that hole right there. So I love that about this machine. You basically have a straight stitch machine combo with your machine that'll do embroidery stitches. It'll do your regular stitches, just some really, really fancy ones. So I really love that. That's what makes this machine unique. And to my understanding, this is the only machine that has this with the feed dogs and the throat plate that swap out like this. So yeah, it comes with it. All of it comes in this cute little box. You've got your electric buttonhole maker. This actually plugs in to the side of the machine here. There's a little port there that it plugs into for your buttonholes, which is really nice. You've got a lot of feet that come with it, which is really, really handy. But that is what makes this machine more unique than any other machine. And, you know, I'm a Juki lover. I drive a Toyota. They're well-made machines in Japan. And so they're very, very reliable. So that is a special feature about this machine that I really, really like. And then you've got a really large screen. I think Kennedy has it linked for you below so you actually can read all the specs about it. But I love, love, love this machine. I'm using a knee lift, and I've got on my 1/4-inch patchwork foot. So this helps me keep a 1/4-inch foot. You'll also notice here that I have got my stitch set on a lock stitch. So when it starts stitching, it's going to lock it in place. You can turn that to another setting to where it will start off doing a reverse stitch for you if you'd like, or it'll do nothing at all but just start stitching. So I have mine on a lock stitch, and then I'm using my patchwork foot so I can get that good 1/4-inch seam. So we're going to go ahead and stitch all the way down this side, one short end and the long side. And we're going to do that for all of these strips that we need to make. And the nice thing is that these feet just snap right off. You'll see me probably do that in a few minutes. I just can change them extremely quickly, which is nice. And it's really quiet too, which is lovely as well. Now I have my machine in the Sydney XL hydraulic Aero sewing table. Sewing Machines Plus has this as well. This is through Aero, and you can get the custom insert. So that's what my machine is in. This is made for larger machines, and it's got so much space. It's basically like a U shape, which is really, really handy. Okay, we have now stitched that. And my foot actually is programmed to do a, it can be programmed to do a reverse stitch, or it can cut the thread for you first, either way. So you've got some options on how you program the foot as well, which is nice. And I love the knee lift. That way I can use my hands the entire time and not just have to use one hand with constantly lifting the presser foot in the back. So it's kind of like a Cadillac, but it's not at the Cadillac price. I did quite a bit of research on machines and what I wanted it for. I usually always sew with a straight stitch Juki that I've sewn with for a number of years. But then there's times where I was like, you know what? I need a zigzag stitch, and I wanted to do some other special stitches too. So this machine had that, which I was really, really grateful for. And it's so much cheaper than some of the other ones that do some similar things. I was shocked. So we're sewing our last loop here, and then we'll be able to sew the larger pieces together. So I'm just sewing down the sides. All right. And I still have the habit of hitting the button. I can press the foot, but I've only had this machine since, I think, spring. And I'm still getting used to a few things with it. Okay, we're going to cut our corners of these, and I'll go do that over on the overhead. And then we're going to turn these right side out. So let's do that over here. let's see, let's get my scissors. And we're going to cut off our little corners here. And we're going to turn these right side out. It is quiet, Kathy. It's a very quiet machine, which is nice. I mean, everyone likes a quiet machine, right? Okay, I'm going to use a point turner. Now you can use a chopstick or whatever you want. And we're going to turn these right side out. And then we're going to set these aside. Well, we're going to press it, then we're going to set them aside. This is always the fun part. Sometimes I'll actually bang them on my arm like this to try to get the it to come out. And we'll just push that through. This is the Modern American Vintage. My friend Chris, he hand makes. These are all quilting tools he hand makes out of various types of wood. I don't know if y'all have seen his stuff, but oh my goodness. It's a splurge, but they're all handcrafted. He makes every single one of them by hand. So I've got quite a bit of his stuff if you're wondering about it. Marsha, you can't believe the machine could be that quiet. It is a quiet machine. It really is. My little featherweight is quiet. It reminds me of how quiet my featherweight is, which is nice. I know it's a beautiful turner. I've also got his, I'll show him to you guys. I'll grab him in a second. I'll show you the stuff. He's a great guy. And it's him and his wife and his 2 kids. And his business supports the whole family. They're heirloom. These are all heirloom quality, really. Okay, there's one. So we can see we've got one here for our middle. And then let's turn these 2 right sides out. Yeah, you know, sometimes I use a chopstick too. That's what I actually did for a long time, was a chopstick. But this feels more lovely, right? We not only make lovely things, but it's nice to use lovely things. All right. Almost got this one turned out, and then we're going to go give this a press. Now there's a little trick I'm going to show you about pressing tubes. I call these tubes basically, so we don't lose some of our fabric. So let's go over here and do that. So here's my chopstick. I actually use this chopstick here because we don't want to lose our fabric when we're pressing this. So make sure all of your corners are poked out. And what I like to do, it takes just a little bit of time. I press the edge of my chopstick all the way up to that seam so that I can make sure that fabric gets pressed, because sometimes it will want to fold and we don't get all of our fabric out, which we don't want to happen. We want to get all that out. So then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the other thing with this chopstick. I've tried all kinds of things, and you can sometimes finger roll it and wiggle it, but sometimes that is just really kind of hard. So that's just a little thing I do to be able to try to get all of that fabric out of those seams. And then we'll just give that a good press here. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Get those corners poked out. And then we'll just do it like that. It drives me nuts when I've been pressing and it's like, oh, all the fabric did not come out of that seam. If someone else has a better trick they know of, let me know. This is the best I could come up with. Because, you know, sometimes you can kind of roll it, but see, like even when I roll it, there's still some caught up in there. So this is a fancy chopstick. I think these actually were meant for your hair, like if you wear a bun, like they do in China or Japan. So that's what I use that for. And let's do this big one, which we've got to stick this really kind of all the way down in here. And I would say, honestly, this is probably the longest part of the tutorial if you care about pressing where everything is pressed out really well. This one looks like I can roll a little bit. Let's get that chopstick. pull all that fabric out of there. Now, this fabric collection is a spring collection, so it releases in spring. So it's like, oh, I think I'll use this one in the springtime that I'm making. I've actually now got 3 of them. So I don't know, this one may end up being a gift. That's what I think I may do, is just keep this one as a gift when you need something really quickly. I also think it makes a great gift for a housewarming gift. So, you know, I don't know how where exactly everyone is, but here in the South, when you have new neighbors that move into your neighborhood, which we live in rural Arkansas, and we really don't have a lot of neighborhoods, but I do happen to live in like one of the, I don't know, few neighborhoods where it's a great big loop that kind of loops around. There's, I don't know, maybe 8 houses around this loop on a, what would you say, Quilt Husbands, is probably what? 15 acres. It's a 1 mile loop. And there's about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 houses. But when you have someone move in here, we often will, you know, say, welcome to the neighborhood, and bring them a pie or cookies or whatever. So I think this would make a great, we don't have any new neighbors yet, but I think it would make a great gift to bring them a pie or a casserole, and this is their gift. Isn't that nice? I think you'll make good with your neighbors if you do that. And if you guys make one of these, tag me on Instagram and Facebook. So I'm Belle Bruner over on Facebook. You can tag me there and I'll share all of your beautiful insulated casserole dishes. Okay, we've got those all ready to go. Let's move on to our next step here. I know, aren't the Aliso irons great? I know, I have the little, the Pro, the Mini Pro, and I have that one, and I absolutely, absolutely love it. Yeah, Bird Dog, the chopstick, see if that works for you. I've not come up with any other way to do it. And that chopstick is so narrow that it works really, really well. I mean, just save when you get Chinese, save that wooden one. Just don't use it. And see if that helps you guys. It's like frustrating. I was like, okay, this is like the best solution I can come up with. All right, we're going to set these aside. And now we're going to work with our larger fabrics here. So we're going to take our Insulbrat and lay it flat on your table here. All right, we'll just lay it flat here. And then we're going to put our A fabric. And for me, I'm going to do this pretty foliage print here, the yellow. And it looks like my Insulbrat is just a little bit bigger than this. So I'm going to cut this down just a little bit. The Insulbrat is easy to cut, but I didn't want to really iron it. You can. I just didn't want to iron it. So let me cut this down just a little hair so this all lines up. And we'll cut this down so that that is the exact same measurement. And then we will turn it and cut that in too. And then we will be square up. There we go. We're good. Okay. Now we're good. Okay, so we're laying this right side up. All right. Right side up is how that is. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to be working now with our 2 loops that we have. All right. So we are going to measure at this top corner up here. We're going to measure in 1.5 inches. And we're going to mark that. So let me get my ruler. And I'm going to use pink. I've got pink. I think the pink will show up best. So I've got, this is a Sotat's pen, and it's got white, pink, and like a charcoal color. And I love to use it because I can just click it and then it'll switch around to whatever color I need that'll work with my fabric. So we are going to measure in 1.5 inches, and we're going to mark that. All right, 1.5 inches right there. Okay. And then 1.5 inches on this side as well. We'll do it this way, a little easier. It's 1.5 inches right there. All right, so we've got that marked. And we're going to do it on the other side too. Now we're going to get our little loop here that we have. Snip off those extra strings. And we're going to place it at that line that we drew there, all right? We're going to do that. And so what we want is we want our right sides facing together. The print that matches, you want that to be touching whatever print you have here. Unless you want to flip it around where it looks different, it's completely up to you. But if you want it to match where the outside's the same as the inside, you're going to want these to actually be touching, and your other print will be here on the top, all right? Okay, we are going to pin that in place. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to take this, and without twisting it, we're going to line it up over that other line that we drew right here. We're going to place this one up on that line right there, and we're going to pin that too. Okay. And we'll leave it right there like that. All right. Those are pinned in place, which is really nice. Now we're going to do the same thing down here at this corner too. All right. Get my fabric, make sure that's lined up really well. And we're going to do the same thing with this loop. So let's measure in 1.5 inches. We'll draw our line right there. And we'll do the same thing for this one. And we'll take this and line that up there against the edge of that line that we drew. So that line is right there. We're going to put it right there, and we're going to pin the one end. And then we're going to take this one and turn it without twisting this loop. And we're going to pin that as well. All right. Okay, that is in place. Now, if you want to use the ribbon, this is where you will put your ribbon in. Now, don't do what I did the other day when I was doing a video on this. Make sure your ribbon is attached well, however you pin it down here. You don't want it to slip, because when you go to sew all the way around this, if the ribbon is not in there securely, it'll move. So I'm actually going to use a dab of glue this time to help keep it in place. But what we're going to do is we're going to measure 6 inches in. So we're going to start at the end here, and we're going to measure in 6 inches. And we're going to mark that, because that's where our ribbon needs to go. So there's 2 pieces of ribbon that go on each edge, okay? So there's the first one there. And you'll just center it right there on it. And I'm going to just go ahead and put a dab of glue so that that helps stay in place. And I'm going to pin it. I'm going to put a pin there. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to measure in 6 inches from this side. And let me pin that over there. 6 inches. And we'll get another one of our ribbon. Put a little dab of glue here. Put that in place. And we'll pin that there. All right. So again, just be really careful when we go to sew all this together that your ribbon doesn't move on you, because I did this the other day and the ribbon slipped out and I had to fold it back right sides the way that it was initially to get that ribbon sewn in, and I was a little bit frustrated. So we're going to measure in 6 inches here. And same for this one, 6 inches over. And we'll put our ribbons there. And you could use lace. You don't have to use ribbon. You also could use tomato twine. If you were going for kind of a farmhouse feel, you could use tomato twine. We'll pin that there. And this one too. Yeah, well, I was like, what am I going to use to keep this in place? So I was like, let's try the glue. This is Roxanne Glue Based It. She is my friend. I love this glue. If y'all follow me, you know I use glue based a lot for my binding. I think it is an amazing way to put your binding on. And we're going to measure again. Same thing. 6 inches in, y'all, for your ribbon. Just omit this part if you don't plan on using ribbon, but I just think it makes it look really cute. And I actually rescue a lot of stuff from flea markets and thrift stores. So I have tons of ribbon that I have rescued. And so I just use that up. Lace also would be really, really cute. If you had lace that had the same pattern on both edges of it, I think that would be cute too. Okay. Just pinning that in place. We've got a couple more to go and we'll have these on. One last side here. I tell you a story. I had used one of those friction pins when I first started quilting. Someone said, oh, they're great. And I ruined a quilt because what's interesting, they're not really made for fabric. They're made actually for paper. And what happened was when it got, once you washed it, it went away. But once it cooled, the lines came back when it got cold out. So one winter, all the lines came back and it ruined. And I had white background. There's a cream background. So when I teach at some of the shows and stuff, I no longer recommend that. So I use, you know, especially if this is something that's not going to be seen in the seam I use. But let me tell you what I use. I use the Clover. Oh, where is it? It's this one. It's the Clover water soluble, water erasable marker. It's the only thing I'll use when I'm going to be marking stuff that's actually on the fabric that could be seen. Yeah, I learned the lesson the hard way. And that was like, I mean, that quilt, oh, I spent so much time on that quilt, but I kept it. I tell the story about it. We call those teaching moments in my house. Okay, we've got all of the ribbon in place now. All right, everything's in place. All of our fabric even. And now all of our ribbon has to be inside, okay? So make sure you've got all your ribbon on the inside. You can actually make it look like it's kind of like plaid or something if you just weave those in like that, okay? It'll look like that. Make sure they're in. And then we'll put the lid on this glue and we're going to add our other piece of fabric. So now that we've got these on and our loops are secured, they're pinned in place really well. And you know what? I'm going to pin, actually, I'm going to add a couple more pins because the very first time I did this, it wiggled a little bit out of the way and the loops didn't get caught up in the seam. So let's do that. Let's add, I know it's a little extra, but that was so frustrating to have to unfold that back inside out. That's how you want to word it, because these will kind of want to shift a little bit on you because they're kind of at this little strange angle. So use 2 pins. Two pins on each side there. There we go. All right. Okay, got 2 pins. Okay, now we're going to take our other piece of fabric and we're going to lay it on top. Now, when you lay it on top here, this loop is going to want to kind of stick up on you. Go ahead and fold it down and pin it. This is just temporary. Fold it down and just put a pin over it. Now, you'll have to be careful when we go to fold this right side out again, but fold those down because otherwise it's going to want to pop your fabric up. So this is just temporary. Just fold it on down, lay it flat, and put a pin in it, okay? And that way it lays flatter when we go to sew all this together. All right. Okay, let's line this top fabric up here. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see better. Make sure our ribbon's in. You know the whole measure twice, cut once? Well, I'm like, recheck your fabric twice. And now we're going to pin, or I'm sorry, we're going to use clover clips and clip all of this down in place, okay? And we're going to have a 5-inch gap that we're going to leave open. And I like to leave the gap, it's completely up to you, but you want to make sure it's between the 2 ribbons here. So let's mark a 5-inch gap because when we turn this right side out, we want to be able to do that. So from here to here, it's between the 2 ribbon. There's our gap to turn this right side out. So we'll mark that. Okay, let's pin this in place and pin really well. We got a lot going on here in these layers. Or clip really well, I should say, not pin. We're going to clip it really well. Oh, Brenda, I'm glad you like the fabric collection. I do too. I just did. So for those that are Threadmaster members of my YouTube channel, which is called Thread Life with Belle, Threadmaster members, they are subscribers. They pay a couple bucks a month and they get special videos. And so they always get a special video when my fabrics are coming out. They get to see them before anybody else does. And on Wednesday, I released my next collection for them to see first before anyone else gets to see it besides Quilt Husband and, of course, my Benartex family. So I'm really excited about the next collection too. But this ships to shops in the spring. So if you're wondering about it, just ask your local quilt shop. Are you carrying Montgomery Mountain Charm by Belle? I've seen so many. And if they haven't ordered it, maybe they will. If not, I just got word today from Kimberly Jolly. I was talking with her and she said they are actually going to be carrying it. Speaking of, I'm going to be hosting 2 quilt-alongs. While we're pinning this, I'm going to tell you about it. I did a sampler quilt-along last year. It was a beginner sampler. That was a lot of fun. So this year I'm doing another one. And it'll be slightly different, but if you guys want to do that with me, make sure you are a newsletter subscriber. All the details of that are going to go out within the week. And then I'm going to be hosting, along with Fat Quarter Shop, a sampler quilt that is based off of one of their books that has 12 patterns in it. And that is going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you are on my newsletter. And I'll be doing a live for those blocks every other week. Okay, we've got this pinned down now. It's all in place. We've got everything in place. Now, here's where you just need to be thoughtful whenever we're sewing all this down. Remember where your 5-inch opening is, okay? Your 5-inch opening, we've got it right here. I've got it between these 2 clips here. And so we are going to start at the first mark here, and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch. Just make sure everything is caught up in here, y'all, okay? Because, like I said, some stuff shifted when I was first doing this, and I had to go back and fold it wrong side out again and get those caught up. So just be mindful as you go around. We're going to sew a 1/4 inch all the way around here. And I'm probably going to take off my patchwork foot because I might need to go in just a little bit more to make sure I get it all covered. But we're going to sew all the way around back to our other line that we've got up here, the end of our opening, okay? So let's go do that. Okay. let's see, where is it? There we are. Here we are. And I'm going to go ahead and take off this patchwork foot. Now you see how I just clicked that button and it popped off? I'm going to put on my 1/4 inch foot, but it doesn't have the little guardrail on the side. And we're going to start right there. And I'm going to set this to have my back stitch. So on this machine, I can press a couple buttons over here, and this is going to start out doing a reverse stitch here, and it's going to end doing a reverse stitch, because sometimes you make things where you need to back stitch. Well, now you don't have to press a button to go front and back or anything like that. The machine actually does it for you when you start out, okay? So see, it just did a back stitch right there. Okay, now we've got pins in here. So there's that ribbon. I'm going to use my stiletto. My ribbon is right here, and I want to make sure that gets caught up in there. But I don't want to sew over a pin. So we're going to just very gingerly go over that. I'm using a 2mm stitch length. Now we're getting down here to the tabs. So again, I'm just double checking and making sure that hasn't shifted or anything. We want to make sure that gets caught in there without sewing over a pin. We're good so far. Just adjust that slightly with my stiletto so it's not sticking out. Okay, and now we're going to pivot. Come on down. Just making sure my loops are in there. I like using a stiletto. It can be handy. You have to be careful though not to poke a hole through things. Sometimes these things are so sharp. Okay, make sure we've got that in there. All right, just checking to make sure those loops are caught up in there. Because this is a pretty big piece of fabric. I mean, it's a little bigger than a fat quarter because it's 22 by 22. Okay, there is another ribbon there. I can see the pin. So I'm going to pull that pin out. Just use my stiletto to keep it in place. And like I said, if you were making one of these and you weren't having to talk and teach it, you could whip one of these up in 30 minutes. The more you do it, the faster it'll get. Just be really cautious, again, about making sure everything gets caught up in there. And pivot. Got another piece of ribbon there. Yeah, so far so good, right? The nice thing about this machine too, I meant to tell y'all, it comes with a trolley. So to be able to, like, if you want to take this with you to retreats, it's this little trolley rolly bag. And it comes with this amazing set of scissors, stiletto, snips. And so it is just for the silver one. When you look on S&P's website, it is the QVP. It's the expert edition. This is called the Kokachi. And that stands for feel good, good feeling. And I do get a good feeling when I use this machine. So the silver one is the special one. And you get all those extras with it. I just love it. Plus it's silver. And my other Juki is a straight stitch. It's silver. So I call this the big sister to my Juki straight stitch. Okay, we're just making sure those loops are in there. And we'll pivot. We're over halfway there. We could come down one more stitch. All right. And you'll kind of notice when you do this, because you've got so much going on here, that you might have a little bit of fabric that kind of shifts on you just a little bit, but it's fine. We'll trim that off. Okay, want to make sure that loop's under there. Oh yeah, it is. Except you know what? Belle always forgets to engage it. Was that Brenda? Brenda, who's here today, she's so funny. She will when I'm on my thread lap with Belle, she'll be like, Belle, you forgot to engage your dual feet. So I'm glad y'all mentioned that. Sometimes I forget to engage it. And that is a very handy feature of this machine, is it's got, and you can see it, it's got the dual feed. So actually nothing was slipping, so I wasn't having trouble so much with it, but it is helpful if you've got slick fabric. It feeds everything through better. The reason I'm going kind of slow actually, y'all, is because I'm making sure that all of the ribbon and the tabs are caught up in the edge. Because like I said before, stuff shifted a little bit on me in the past, and it was frustrating because they didn't get caught up in there. So that is why I'm going. This is the DX-4000. The Juki DX-4000. This is one of their top of the line machines, and you know, Kennedy will let you know about the price. I believe this one is like $4,500, $4,600, which is super cheap for this machine. With all the things that it does, it was a no-brainer for me, and I did quite a bit of research on it. But just, it's got the dual feed, so you don't have to put a walking foot on. I mean, you just engage that if you can remember to engage it. I've had a straight stitch for so long, it does take a little bit of time, I think, to remember to do that. Now watch, I'm going to actually press on the pedal that you can't see. There's a little pedal next to the regular pedal you press, and it will do whatever you want it to do. I have mine programmed to do that reverse stitch at the front and the back. But you can actually program it to do other things. You can program it just to cut the thread, which is really nice. You could do a lock stitch. So you have a lot of options with that. Okay, let's get all these pins out of the way here. What else while I'm putting this up? Y'all got questions about this machine? Yeah, it is nice to have the dual feed. I've never had one before. But you just, that's all you do. You just pull it down, and it clicks right underneath there for the dual feed, which is really nice. Now you can't use that when you're doing like a zigzag stitch and stuff, because it goes, you know, your zigzag stitch, this goes kind of back and forth. So there's a few settings that it won't let you actually, there's certain things it won't let you do. Like if you're starting to make a mistake, it won't let you make the mistake. So it's kind of nice because it's got some brains for you without it being overly complicated. I don't like overly complicated stuff. Okay. Let's see, Quilt Husband, we're frozen up. So we'll have you unfreeze the overhead for us. All right, there we go. Okay. Now let's check. Whoop. Okay. We're good. All right, let's check and make sure we got everything caught up in here. All right, I was in a hurry the other day and I didn't check it, and that was what got me in trouble. So we're going to be cautious here on this. All right, looks like we've got everything caught up in there. Good deal. Okay, now we're going to cut off those corners here because we're going to be turning this right side out. So let's cut those off. And I'm going to cut off also the extra fabric. So, you know, the fabric kind of shifts a little bit. So let's cut off anything that's hanging over. There's a little bit down here. So I'll use my ruler and just cut a little bit of that extra off. Alrighty. Okay, now we're ready for the magic. Isn't this the fun part where you get to unfold it? Now you do need to be careful. We've got pins in here, a couple of them, so we don't want to hurt ourselves. So let's reach in. We're going to reach in between the two layers. Don't reach in between the A fabric and your INSPO. It's reach in between the two prints, okay? So we're going to reach in and we're going to start to pull this right side out. Now I'm going to grab a corner and I'm going to pull from there. And there is a pin here. Remember, we used the pin to hold that down. So just be careful you don't poke yourself. And we're just going to pull that out. And because we did the back stitch, the reverse stitch on both of those ends, we can tug it a little bit without that coming unstitched, which is helpful. Let's pull that out. Oh, I love these colors. These are just so nice together. I was looking at all of my bolts of fabric and I was like, which two colors of prints do I want to use? Okay, Bernadette, well, we're glad you're with us. You'll have to watch the replay to finish the rest of it. Have a great day at work. Let's pull this out. I felt that one needle in there, or that one pin. So just be careful because you've got those two things pinned down, so you don't want to poke yourself on those little loops. All right, woohoo! Here we go. There it is right there. And remember, we pinned that down right there. That's what we got to be careful when you're pulling it right side out. Ta-da! Okay, now we're going to use that point turner again. We're going to find our 5-inch opening. There it is. I'm just going to, your whole hand will fit in there. So we're just going to poke out those corners. Really well. And we're going to give this a good press. And again, you're going to want to make sure you get all that fabric out of your seams when we press. There's our loop. Okay, we did it. We did it, y'all. Isn't that cute? All right. We've got all our ribbons. They're all in place. Everything got caught up in there. Let's go give this a good press, and then we're going to do the top stitch. Now, you just have to be a little mindful when we do our top stitch. We kind of have to maneuver just a little bit underneath to do this. Oh, thanks, Linda. Yeah, it's looking good, thankfully. I had to be a little more cautious, like I said, because I got in a hurry last time, and I had one of these ribbons that just didn't even get caught up in there. So that was frustrating. And you know, you could actually, if you wanted to sew these on now, the ribbon, you could like fold an edge over and stitch them down on the inside if you forgot or you messed up. But I didn't really want to do that. So let's press this really well. And this is INSPO, so you know, it's totally fine to press over all of that. So we're just going to turn it around and press that down really well because it makes it a little easier when we're doing our top stitch for that to lay nice and flat on there. And of course, we're going to fold this under 1/4 inch there. And I'm going to actually use 2 clips because this is a little thick right there with that opening with the INSPO. And when I press it, I want to make sure that it stays and that it's even. I don't want to see extra fabric on the other side that doesn't need to be there. So I'm a recovering perfectionist, I say. Sometimes I can let stuff go and then sometimes it annoys me. So I suggest that you just clip those so that they don't wiggle and get out of place where your opening is for when we stitch that down. Just kind of roll that around. I was super excited. I had this ribbon that matched to the fabric, and I didn't have to go look for some. I have vintage lace too. It's like, ooh, that would be fun to use vintage lace. Kind of just depends on the look you're going for. Okay, we've almost got this completely pressed. Really. Who? Paula? Oh, Paula, you're going to get my fabric in the spring? I'm so excited. You know, this collection, there's prints in it that make good baby quilts too. So if you use the yellows, there's like some of the softer prints that are a little more low volume. There's little butterflies. But then when you combine it with some of the darker prints, you know, it's not really a child's quilt anymore. So I tried to make it versatile. And I don't know if y'all knew this or not. I found out after the fact that yellow is a trending color for this year. Besides Pantone coming out this last week saying that white is the Pantone color of the year. There's been a lot of emotion about that. And I can say a lot of us that like color were like, what? Last year was Mocha Mousse and this year's white. So it kind of reminds you of things going on in the bathroom. All right. Okay, let's go top stitch this down. And I'm going to leave this foot on here. Now you could do a decorative stitch if you wanted on here, maybe with some decorative thread or something like that. That could be an option for you. And so what you do is you'd swap out this plate. You'd take this plate off. Let me just show you how that works. So there's this little key here, so you can see that. And it pops down here in this little slot. You just put it underneath there and you turn it. And then this pops off. This whole machine pops off, or this whole plate pops off here. So you can see that from the back screen that we've got going on, how that just pops off. Now, if you look here, this is where those feed dogs are. Now watch that. You just pop that off, and this is your straight stitch feed dogs. You know, while I've got that open, why don't we just kind of use a little brush here and get out some of that lint. I use this little brush. There we go. Get some of that out of there. A little time for a little dusting. And so all you do is when you have your other throat plate that you want to put on in feed dogs, it literally just snaps down in there. Now, normally you'll take this off. We'll disengage the dual feed. We'll take off our foot, and then you can get to it a lot easier. And it literally just fits there and pop, snap it down. And you just put your plate back on and it locks. It snaps down and you're good to go. That is how you would change your plate. Like that and the dual feed, I absolutely love about this machine. That whole thing in itself, this is what sold me, was being able to swap out. So I don't have to use leaders and enders. There's just one hole there. And so with that one hole, you don't get fabric that gets stuck down in there. Isn't that nice? So that is just a little tidbit there for you about why I love the Juki DX-4000. You can get it in white. You can get it in the silver. If you get the silver, it comes with the trolley case, and it also comes with the scissors. Okay, so for me, this is going to be the outside, the lighter color fabric. The inside, because, you know, if you spill a little bit on there, whatever, this is washable. You can wash this. You just don't want to dry it. Just leave it out wet. Wash it on gentle. Hand wash it if you want. Okay, I am not going to do the reverse stitch for this. I'm going to change it over on the screen to a lock stitch. So that's what I've done. And I'm going to sew about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And here we go. Pardon? The blurriness is fixing? Oh, good. Okay, here we go. We're going to make sure we close up our opening there. Oh, I forgot to put the dual feed back on. There we go. And we're just going to do 1/8 of an inch top stitch all the way around. Now, just watch your ribbon. Make sure your ribbon is out of the way. Make sure we closed our opening. I'm gonna look back here. Yep, we're good to go. Now, when we get down here to a corner, you kind of have to move your loop out of the way a little bit. Just kind of move that fabric back a little bit as we top stitch it. So you'll just kind of with your hand, just kind of pull that loop back a bit. So we're going to pivot. So I'm just moving it out of the way with my hand a little bit. And we'll pivot. Keep the loop out of the way there. So that's just the only little tricky part with the top stitch. You could choose if you wanted to just end right before the loops if you wanted, but I kind of like to be consistent to stitch all the way around. See, that's quite dual feed, isn't it? And it's just feeding it right through evenly. I just have to always remember to put it on. Sometimes my followers are so sweet on my Thread Life with Belle channel. They'll be like, Belle, you forgot to put your dual feed on. Yep, I forgot. I think probably maybe by using it after a year, I'll remember. That's what I get for sewing on a straight stitch machine for so long. You get these nice Cadillac machines, of course, at half the price. And it's got some of these features. It's like, oh, I forgot about that. Okay, we're going to pivot and come down. Now, if you wanted to put some kind of label or tag, you absolutely would have done that when you did the ribbons. Sometimes people like to put special labels on there. And when you were putting your ribbon on, that's when you would insert that tag there. But you could sew one on one of the loops if you wanted to. I have some Seam Sew Me brand labels, and sometimes I'll put those on things. Oh, yeah, you have those brushes, Paula? Yeah, those brushes are nice. You know, I think I got that brush on Amazon, actually. And I can't forget to show you guys these tools, too, from Modern American Vintage. He's got some great quilting tools. Who does? Jaren? Janet. Oh, Janet, you've got this one in white and love it. I know. I think when I did this show last time, several people bought the machine. The selling factor, the dual feed, and being able to swap out. See, usually when you swap out the machines that you swap out the plate, the throat plate, you don't swap out the feed dogs. But with this one, you've got the feed dogs that actually match and go with what should happen, those little grooves inside the throat plate that's on there. So that's what makes it unique. There's not another machine, to my knowledge, when this came out that has that feature. It's unique to Juki. So if you are thinking about you want a gift for yourself, I highly suggest it. If y'all know me, you know I don't recommend things that I don't like, that I don't use myself on any of my platforms. So that is why I am a fan of this one for sure. It's got great lighting too. There's an LED light, but it doesn't blind you, but it's still really good. And of course, I love this. This is in the Aero Sydney XL hydraulic lift cabinet, which I love because there's like lots of drawers. And I actually have my serger. I don't know if y'all could see from my face on view earlier, but I have my serger on the edge of the table to the right of me because I actually serge a lot of the edges of my projects. Okay, we're back to the front here. So I'm just going to back stitch. So I just pressed my foot there at the bottom. We back stitched and we're going to cut those threads. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm going to give this as a gift. I love this fabric so much. I haven't used these two together. I'm kind of a fan of these two. Okay. Look at that. Now let's put it in our pie plate. Let's put it in there. We'll put it in the casserole dish. We'll do that. I've got that handy. Let's whip this up and pretend we've got a casserole dish in here. Okay. Oh, we can't do that yet. It would help. We've got to put the strap on. That's funny. I was like, why isn't this finished? We've got to put this part on, y'all. I got too excited. I was like, oh yeah, it's all done. Let's like do the origami part. Okay. The last step is to add this to it. And you can decide if you want it to face this way or this way. So if you have it face this way, what's going to happen is when you do the origami piece, this is going to come up like this, and it'll be the same color as your outside fabric. But I'm thinking I might swap it like this so that when I do the origami and this comes up, this accent fabric is showing. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Donald, sometimes you just need to keep the things you make. It's true, right? And it's like, this is lovely. I may keep this one and give away that red one. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to do this, y'all. So I'm going to turn it this way so that when I lift this up and we do the origami, this accent fabric is going to show, which I really want to have happen here. So completely up to you. You've got choices here. Okay, the way we do this part here is we've got to do just a teeny little bit of measuring on where to put this. So we're going to use our little trusty pin here again, and we're going to measure 2 inches down, okay? And on this, we actually need to fold this in here, and we need to press that. So let's go do that really quick. We're going to fold this in because when we stitch this down, we're not going to do the top stitch right now like you might think we normally would. We're going to wait because when we stitch this down, that's quote going to be like our top stitch and closing it up. So let's get that even there. Come on, Belle. Okay. And we're going to press that. Get that even. There we go. Press that down. Okay. So we've got that pressed under. You actually could have done that when we made this earlier, is press that under, but I don't sew it. I wouldn't sew it down yet because when we sew this to the pie carrier, you would have a second row of stitches over it. So it's up to you, but all right, here we go. Now we've got that. Okay, we're going to flip it like this because I want the accent showing. So here's what we do. We take our ruler and we measure down 2 inches from the corner. So from the corner, we're going to measure down 2 inches and we're going to mark that right there. All right. Same thing on our other side here. Go to the corner and we mark down 2 inches. Now this you might be like, what, Belle? Like, why aren't we sewing it all the way to the end? We do it this way because we need it to kind of do this little origami thing, okay? So we actually have to sew one end down first, and then we bunch this up underneath here and we sew down the other one, all right? So let me show you how we're going to do that. I'm going to pin this one. Let's sew down this one that's folded under first. Let's get that one done. So I'm going to line that up, make sure it's even. We've got 2 inches down. I've lined it up with that pink line that I drew. And I'm going to pin that in place so it doesn't shift on me when I move this over there. Okay. All right. Let's go sew this down. Now, here's something to keep in mind. Now, I'm using a thread that works for the front or the back. Okay. Now, if you really wanted to be particular, you could have like this is a buttery yellow. I could have a buttery yellow thread if I wanted to blend in with that. My bobbin thread is an off-white, so it's going to blend. But you will see when you stitch this down here, you will see your stitch here on the pretty side of the fabric, which is going to be kind of the outside of the pie carrier. So just keep that in mind. Whatever, if you've got like some weird color in here and you're like, oh no, I didn't think about that. Just think about, do you want to have a different thread in the bobbin and the top, or, you know, does that matter to you? I've got, like I said, a really kind of a natural off-white. So we're going to start off, I'm going to actually change my feature on the machine over here on the, it's a 7-inch screen. I've got mine as a reverse stitch, and I'm going to take off the dual feed for that for a second here. And I'm going to do the reverse stitch. Take that pin out now that I don't need it. And we're going to stitch this down. And so that is actually top stitching the end of that strip here that we're sewing down. Okay. Now I'm going to hit my foot pedal down here. There's another side to the foot pedal, and it's going to reverse stitch for me. Okay. That one is nice. It's sewn down really nicely. I'll do with my scissors. These are those Juki scissors. These are all stainless steel. It comes with these, a stiletto. It comes with some snips. Okay, now here's what we do. Now you see, this is not going to reach all the way to our other line. It's not supposed to. We pull it. We have to pull it. So this is going to come up. It is supposed to do that. All right, supposed to do that. We're going to bring it up to our line up here. And then we're going to pin that again to keep it in place. Make it centered. We're going to top stitch that down. And so you can't even see, I used a thread that blended, so you can't even see that. So let's make sure our ribbon's out of the way. And here we go. We've back stitched. Got the dual feed on. I'm just hitting that foot pedal, the other part of the foot pedal, and it is going to, whoops, reverse stitch for me, and then automatically cut the thread without me having to do anything with my hands. It's all by the foot, but you can program that to do whatever you want it to do. We're going to snip that. Okay, now we can put in our casserole dish, y'all. We just needed that sewn in there. All right, so we are just going to put our casserole dish in. We're going to line it up here. So this is the rectangle one, but you do the same thing if it was a pie. You just lift this up. Let's do our little origami here. All right. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, I'm totally keeping this one. Who was it that told me to keep it? Scott? I don't remember who it was. I'm keeping it. Okay, let's do the magic here. We're going to fold that through. Oh, I'm so glad I did the accent fabric to show. And then we're going to take this one, fold it through, make it kind of even there. There we go. Look at that. Now let's tie our little bows. So let's tie our bows here, the accent bows. Thanks, Rita. Oh, yep, I'm keeping it. I'm not giving this one away. I'll give away the red one, the Terra Rose one that I showed you guys when we started out. Like, I'm keeping this one. Oh my goodness. But I can make more. I can make more for people. So let's tie all these. This is the fun part. Like, can you imagine showing up with this? Someone's house. Hi, I'm here. Here's your mountain berry pie. And oh, by the way, you get to keep this casserole carrier. This is for you. Welcome to the neighborhood. Thanks for inviting me. Look at that. I might have had a little bit too much fun, and this is now the third one that I've made of these. Isn't that cute? Look at that. Let's do the face on. You can see it this way. There we go. And then if you have people come into your house, you can have this matching apron. It all matches. Isn't that cute? It is a very nice hostess gift. So these are the prints from my fabric collection that I've used. And there's actually a pink colorway. If you wanted to do the pink colorway version of this, there's several, but that's how it works, y'all. Casserole or your pies, you can carry that. Yeah. All right. Any questions at all about this? Everybody Remember your fabric requirements. If you came in late, go to the beginning, and I'll let you know just the pieces you need. Your Insulbrat, 22 inches square. 2 pieces for your inner and your outer, 22 inches square. You need one A and one B fabric of your rectangles, and those are 22 by 3. And then you need 2 of each print of 3 by 7. And then your ribbon. That's it. So if you guys make this, take a picture, email it to me. I'll put it in my newsletter, or tag me on social media and I will share it because I think it's darling. All right, friends. Well, that is today's episode. That is your pie carrier. So I'd love for you to join me over on Thread Life with Belle. If you don't already follow me, I do tutorials over there. If you love quilt retreats, I'd love to host you here because you will get a homemade pie in the Ouachita National Forest in beautiful Arkansas. I live in the mountains here, and I have a quilting retreat center. You can find all that on my website. I'll be hosting several this coming year, and then you also can just bring your friends and you actually just get together and you guys all come without me even teaching or doing anything there. You can kind of be on your own and just sew. And so, yeah, I think that is about everything. This fabric ships to fabric shops in March, and I look forward to seeing you guys next year for some more projects. Back to you, Kennedy.
Adorable. It looks so adorable. And I just have to say, when you were holding it in front of you, I think you have to make another apron in that with those fabrics. So that way when you bring those casserole carriers, is it in there?
Yeah. Oh, well, so this ruffle is that flower print.
Oh my
and then this one is the yellow.
Oh, perfect.
So I've got 2 in there, but I didn't want to do the white up here because I was like, well, if I spill stuff on it, so I decided to go with the darker print.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect. It looks adorable. And also that would keep casseroles warm, and especially with the Insulbright too. Like, I feel like it would just keep it warm. And when you take it over, it's just such a cute thing to like see something arrive in. Oh my gosh. Like, and I get to keep this? What?
I think what'll happen is if you take something like this and give it as a gift when someone invites you over, then they're going to be like, I wonder what she'll bring next time. So they may expect you to have more projects to take when you come over, but I think you'll be a fan favorite.
Oh, I love it. It's adorable. Belle, thank you so much for coming on and showing us how to make this carrier. I love it. I'm going to be working on it this weekend. I am so excited to see everybody else's versions of it. And definitely to everyone watching, go pick up Belle's fabric when it launches in March. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you forget how to make it, you can rewatch this tutorial. I've also got one on my YouTube with Belle too. So you guys have fun making them.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Belle. I'm going to tell everyone how they can get that Juki machine.
Yes. Tell them all about it. It's my favorite.
Yes. All right. So let me show you all how, first off, I just love Belle. She is just the best. I love what she was talking about, the Pantone color of the year, because I had that exact same thought. I remembered when they did the mocha mousse or something like that. And then the white, I was like, what are we doing? Where are the bright colors? Where's color? What happened to the color? Anyway, I just love that she mentioned that because I was feeling the same exact way. But let's talk about this Juki DX-4000QVP. Now, Belle was talking about how, she loves all these features, but right now with, the holidays, and we just had Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we still have this big bundle with this purchase of the DX-4000QVP. If you get the machine today, you'll also get a trolley. So that way you can take it, carry it with you, travel. You can take it to classes, anything like that. And then you also get the scissor set with purchase. So a lovely little freebie add-on on there. If you want to learn more, you can give us a call at 1-800-401-8151, or you can just go to our website and chat live with our sewing specialists on there. But definitely, if you are looking at the DX-4000QVP, this is the Expert Edition. I know there was someone in the comments saying how they had the white one. So there is just the normal DX-4000QVP, and then there is the this here is the QVP Expert Edition. So you're not only getting the machine, you're getting a really, really amazing trolley with it, and those are not cheap. So you're getting a really good deal with that trolley, and you're getting that free scissor set. And this is just until they run out. So we still have some available. So make sure you get on the phone. give us a call. And we also, of course, have financing available. And we would love to get you a new machine, not only just for Christmas, but for the new year. You can really start the new year with some amazing projects. But one more time, give us a call, 1-800-401-8151, and we will be able to get you this machine. And I see Belle's comment. This is one of the best deals that I've seen all year on this machine, and especially with those free goodies with it. It's awesome. So, all right, I think it's time for some giveaways. So let's do that. Our first giveaway, we are going to be giving away a $25 gift card, of course. So anything that you saw here today that you want to pick up at home for you, you can get that today with this gift card. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just real quick, and then we will spin to see who's going to win. All right, so this is for the $25 gift card. Now, if you win this today, be sure to go to SMPLive.tv, fill out all the information, and we will get that shipped out to you. Or I'm sorry, we're talking gift cards. So Melanie, congratulations. You have just won a $25 gift card from SMP. But what I need you to do is go to SMPLive.tv with the gift cards. The most important thing that we need from you is your email. So just put your email in the spot on the form where you fill out all your information, and we will email you a gift card code that you can just copy and paste into the checkout, and that will take $25 off your order. So congrats, Melanie. I'm very excited for you. I can't wait to see what you end up taking home and what goodies you get. But let's go ahead and give away a world famous Sew Mat. I love these so much. They are the best. And I could go on and on about our Sew Mats. And I know a lot of you have them, so you can even attest to how awesome these Sew Mats are. I've got one on my desk right here, but let's go ahead and spin, see who's gonna win one of these Sew Mats today. Now with the Sew Mats, this is where we'll need shipping information, all that good stuff, who we're sending it to, but you will want to. So Lisette, congratulations, you've just won a world famous Sew Mat from SMP. But I need you to pick out what color and what size you want. So you can go to our website and look at our Sew Mats and see which color that you want. We also have a few different patterns and lots of different sizes for all the different types of machines. So go pick out what color and what size you want, and then head to smplive.tv and just fill out the form. Let us know where we're sending it to, and what Sew Mat you would like, and we'll get that shipped out to you. Awesome. Well, you guys, we had, of course, another successful show. So how awesome is that? Let me get me back on the screen. There we go. Another successful show. Thank you all so much for joining. And I see Belle in the comments saying thank you as well. It's always just such a pleasure to have Belle on and to see her working on some amazing projects. And that's what we want to bring into SMP Live throughout the next year and all that, just bringing some good education and some fun projects and inspiration. So let us know, of course. I'm always ears open on what you guys want to see on the shows. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend and take some time and stitch out a fun project. Do something fun. I would love to see if you end up making a casserole carrier. I would love to see it. So make sure to show lots of pictures. I'm going to get out of here and start planning our stabilizer show, but I will be back next Thursday, 10 a.m. And I can't wait to see you guys all so soon. All right. Have a good week, you guys. Bye.